three adult children as well as grandfather of 6 young grandkids, I would like to remind the young entrepreneurs whom I regard as my grandchildren and children and grandchildren to aim high, work hard, and make friends of expand.
To His Excellency Mr. Gandhi Sulisyanto, the Ambassador of Indonesia to Korea, and Mr. Chang Dae-hwan, Chairman and Publisher of the Maekyung Media Group, for creating this valuable opportunity for exchange between young entrepreneurs from both countries despite their busy schedule. Individuals who are proficient, fluent in Indonesian, English, and even Korean. We will spare no effort to facilitate the entry of this Indonesian talent into Korea.
From spark lab runner and diplomat, he achieved his. He finished his doctorate in Faculty of Law from the University of Sydney, Australia, and since January 2022, he has been serving as the Minister Counselor of the division, which was established by Ambassador Gandhi Sulisyanto for the promotion of closer collaboration between digital and creative players from Indonesia and Korea. Dr. Jad, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Jess. Thank you so much, Excellency Ambassador Gandhi Sulisyanto, Madam Zelda Ulan Kartika, our Deputy Ambassador, Deputy Minister from Ministry for SMEs and Startup, Ambassador Kim Changbom. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to serve as a moderator today, and with an array of amazing speakers, 3 from Indonesian and 3 from Korean, equal in numbers, equal in qualities. First, we have Mr. Duta Marsudi. He received his education Master in Business Administration from Paris INSEAD, and he established the bank in 2021, Emas, 2021. And the bank that he created is now the first and foremost digital banking with a twist of Sharia. He likes to call it Sharia. And wow, it is one of the most successful digital banking in Indonesia, and we'd like to know why. Now, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Duta Marsudi to deliver the presentation.
As Excellency Sulis mentioned, we need to work very hard, we need to build relationships, and we need to try and add value to our best abilities. And I've seen this now in 2 occasions. First and foremost is when I joined the bank. We need to make sure that the experience is as frictionless as possible, because the phones of our segment, which is the underbanked population, the unbanked population, aren't the high-end Samsungs, not the iPhones, but it's like a $50 phone, $60 phone, $80 phone, right? Which may or may not have memory, which may or may not have processing power. So we need to make sure that it's frictionless, it's easy.
About our bank, it's called TOS Bank. And just to be clear, I'm not a billionaire. Because that was sort of called out many times. I just want to be very clear of that. But our bank is a billionaire. So we'll talk about the bank a little bit. And we'll welcome any questions. So yeah, it's called TOS Bank. Do I have to do this one? Okay. Like Ms. Masudi mentioned, the market is very different. So in South Korea, 99%, like even more than that percentage, is banked. So we don't have any problem to solve here to go to serve the underbanked or the unbanked population. But it's very crowded with 85% of market share owned by the largest 5 banks in South Korea, which means they each own more than 20% of the market share. Very hard to compete. And also the mobile banking penetration, our 16K, or almost 17K employees are at KB, the largest bank in Korea. We're only 480 people. We don't plan to go beyond 1,000. Even at
Unicorn among unicorns among unicorn. So Miss Tessa, the floor is yours.
I'd like to clarify two things before I start. First of all, I'm also not a billionaire. Just to clarify that. And second, what I meant by that sentence was that there are very few female leaders in fintech in Indonesia, and that's why I'm a unicorn. It's not that I love myself so much and that I'm worth $1 billion and I'm a unicorn, just to be clear. So thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Gandhi, for having me today, and thank you everyone here for listening to the presentation about Zendit. I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction to explain to you who Zendit is. Oftentimes, I think when you think about Indonesian unicorns, you hear a lot about the consumer plays, but us at Zendit, we primarily service businesses, so a lot of consumers actually have never heard of our brand because we work in the background. So I'm sorry if I apologize if I butcher the Korean language, but 안녕하세요, I think. My name is Tessa. I'm CEO and co-founder at Zendit. Fellow University of Sydney graduates, yay, high five. Okay. A little bit about Zendit. We're a B2B payment infrastructure player. We currently process north of $21 billion of payment, predominantly in Indonesia and Philippines, but rapidly expanding to other markets in Southeast Asia. We have about 4,000 plus active users or active customers, but these are generally big MNCs and enterprises. Because we're B2B, we often enable other bigger players to provide and enable the consumer to be able to accept and send payments as well. So the numbers may seem small, but actually when we look at how many end users we service, it may be around 100,000 or more.
Of South Korea's most prominent accelerator. Mr. Kim, the floor is yours.
Hi. Very honored to be here today. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for inviting me. I didn't realize that I was supposed to make a presentation, so I'll just talk about a couple of things. So SparkLabs, we're an accelerator here in Korea. We focus on very early stage, seed stage investments and helping them grow. We started back in 2012, and we've grown to. We've been doing this for the past 10 and almost now 11 years. We invested in my experience with in the gaming side, we always lean on the publisher who have the users to guide us on how to make our games successful.
Some gentlemen, share us more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi everyone, my name is Ellen. I'm the CEO of Clark. And today, I'm very proud to be here. Thank you for inviting us, Ambassador. We hear a lot about how Duta and Tessa wants to improve Indonesia, right? And this realization actually comes to my mind and also to the other founders at Clark. Most of our consultants, we are mostly, ex-McKinsey and BCG and all that. And we really want to create something that works, right? Something that is near and dear to us. So you guys have done a very good job on helping Bank Indonesia, right? Allows us to have that digital access. We want to create a digital access as well, but in something that is close in our heart, which is health, right? So Clark, in today's presentation, I hope to be able to share how our small startup can unleash the prospect of health and aesthetic market in Indonesia. So that begins by understanding the market, right? So who are these Indonesians that we spoke about? There is a big growth in middle and upper class Indonesian, and they are totally different to their predecessors, right? These people value personal brand. They want to level up, right? They're aesthetically driven. They are very vocal and expressive, and mostly through social media. Very highly connected, very social. And they actually have better education and higher disposable income. All of these traits create and drive the Indonesian population to embrace cosmetic dental treatment. Ocean part, right, which is the dental tech. Just to remind all of us, right, especially the ladies here, I'm sure we are very familiar with the brands on the slide. A lot of us are using multiple layers of our skincare, right? From toner, foam, mask, and all of that. So the aisles, right, in Watson's Garden in Indonesia and maybe Olive Young here in Korea is filled with great skincare products.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency. Thank you very much for inviting me. I also want to extend my special thanks to Minister Councilor Tanju for giving me an opportunity. So my name is Daniel Kim. I'm among the panelists. I think I'm the only one who lived actually both in Jakarta and Seoul. I went to high school in Jakarta, so I feel home in this room packed with both nationalities. And I was actually asked to talk more about Indonesia. So, as I think Ellen, you mentioned, we were ex-old consultants. I'm actually still a consultant, so this may be the most boring session among the five. So I run a company called Tiger Research. We provide consulting and advisory services for blockchain and Web3 companies trying to enter into Asia. We work with companies like Animoca Brands, Forte, Clayton Foundation, and Zangdo, who want to expand outside Korea to countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, and Philippines. So before I kind of talk more about Indonesia, I'd like to introduce my favorite quote around Web2 from a person called Chris Dixon and Anderson Horowitz. So since the 1940s, when computers first came out, every 10 to 15 years, there was a big change of major computing cycle. In 1980s, we all kind of worked on personal computers or desktops. In 90s, it was internet, driven by companies like American AOL, Yahoo. In 2000, it was the era of mobile phones or mobile internet. Right? Everyone's on their phone. Companies like Facebook.
To raise your questions. But before then, since I haven't seen some fingers raised, then it's the task of the moderator, sorry speakers, it's the task of the moderator, of course, to make a lively environment. Let me ask, since Mr. Eugene Kim is the only one not presenting presentation, so this is his homework. Mr. Eugene Kim, some of the speakers spoke about Indonesian being a market. Do you see Indonesia only as a market, or do you see it a feasible doer, mover, shaker in terms of digital economy?
Sorry for not doing a presentation. I apologize. I wasn't aware. I've been in the internet for the past 20 years, and I've been looking at Korea. I think in the beginning, when we wanted to go with startups, and companies that do go global, you do have to understand the local, right, to succeed in that market. And I think 10, 15 years ago, I think what I tell people is that a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people thought that they could just try to go in there and learn the country and language. And
our graceful MC has reminded us that there will be lucky draw from Garuda Indonesia. Thank you, Garuda Indonesia. Mr. Fajar, from the General Manager from Garuda Indonesia Seoul office. However, we kindly urge you to raise some questions before receiving the lucky draw. Again,
I then open Indonesian people, and also many Korean company people and Indonesian people work together. And I've heard that Indonesia has a very strong potential, and now is really is starting to change very much. But some people, some Korean and
a lot of fellow founders, but usually every company before they become a unicorn, they undergo a series of pivots or potential near-death experiences. I would like to know from the panel, anyone, what some of those experiences may have been and how did you steer the ship?
Because a lot of people hear the success stories without, actually ever talking about what happens, right? With startups. Zendet actually we pivoted 2 times. So in the early days, we tried to do remittance with actually Bitcoin, which sounds wonderful in theory, but in practice,
emphasized about the pandemic, have emphasized about the hard times during their initial stages of every fintech company, banks, but they didn't give up.